Yo guys, what's up? We're back for another video, another Premier League video, and this time we're going to be judging each Premier League club's transfer window and just a basic overview of what I'm going to be speaking about in this video. So I'll be looking at the major, not all, just the major ins and outs, and I will also be looking. I'll be giving each team a grade based on A to F, A being the highest, F being the lowest. And without further ado, let's get started. So the first team we're going to look at are Arsenal. Now, Arsenal have quietly had one of the most underrated transfer windows, in my opinion. They've had a very good transfer window. They've brought in Gabriel, Willian, Pablo Mari, Cedric Suarez, and Danny Ceballos without too many notable without too many notable players leaving. So I do think they've strengthened where they need to, mainly which was their defense, and Danny Ceballos, Pablo Mari, and Cedric Suarez will hit the ground running immediately because they were at the club since. Danny Ceballos was there since September, and Mari and Suarez were there from January. So they've just been signed either on a permanent deal or a 1 year extension of a loan. And Willian and Gabriel are going to give Arsenal a bit more depth in both defense and attack. So in games where maybe Nicolas Pepe isn't performing, Willian can step in and help Arsenal. And Gabriel is alongside I think William Saliba, who is returning from loan, are both going to be, in my opinion, straight away they're going to be starters because that's how much quality both of them have. So I would give Arsenal an A. They've had a very good window, like I said, and yeah. The next team I'm looking at are Aston Villa, and they've had a pretty dreadful window, to be honest. Nothing too much, but nothing, nothing too much, because the biggest one they've made is Ollie Watkins, but they've also got Matty Cash and Ben Chirsign as the other two signings, and they've let James Chester leave. But I don't think Villa have strengthened where they need to, and I do see this being another long, hard season for Aston Villa, and I would be very pessimistic if I was an Aston Villa supporter. The next team we're looking at are Brighton and Hove Albion, and they've had a pretty busy window. They had a lot more outs, but I didn't want to cram it in with too many outs because I didn't feel like they were all important players. But they have brought in Adam Lallana and Joe Veltman, who are two of their bigger signings this season, and Lars Den Donker, Zach Emerson, Jensen Weir are all solid players for Brighton, and they will strengthen the side. And the way Graham Potter likes to play, I do see this being another good season. But they have lost good players in the form of Aaron Moy, who was very good last season for Brighton. Jurgen Locadia, who was a little bit of a hit and miss at Brighton, and Anthony Knockaert, again a little bit of a hit and miss at Brighton. Uh, so I would give them a B, which is not too bad. They've had a pretty smart window. They've recruited where they needed to, and yeah. Next team we're looking at Burnley. Now that's F. No time to waste. Burnley have signed no big enough players. They've signed one player, and that's Will Norris, an unknown. And they've let Aaron Lennon, Hendrick, and Joe Hart leave. They've released, so they've not even got any money. So it's not been. But I don't think Burnley will have a bad season. I still think they'll have a pretty good season. But they've not had a very good transfer window, and I think that it'll be a bit more difficult this time because there's less of a break between the last campaign ending and this campaign starting. So I think they should have made a few signings, but still they have a pretty good squad, and I don't think it was required to make that many. But I have to give them an F because well they haven't made any big signings. If they've only made one normal signing, so the next team, on the team that I think I've had the best window, and I don't think a lot of people disagree, to be honest. I think everybody agrees with me. Chelsea, my goodness me, Frank Lampard, Jesus Christ. He's doing a madness. He has already got Timo Werner, Hakim Ziyech, Thiago Silva, Malang Sarr, Kai Havertz, Ben Chilwell, and Xavier Mbayumba from Barcelona, a youngster that is. And they've only lost Willian and Pedro as their notable first team or B team players. So it's been a good transfer window, and I would give them an A plus, to be honest. They've changed that defense. They've gotten Thiago Silva and Malang Sarr for free. They've recruited on the left back position where they needed to strengthen, and they've gotten more midfield depth with Kai Havertz and Hakim Ziyech, and they've got a brand new striker with Timo Werner. So I would be very, very excited to see how this team could gel under Frank Lampard, who is a very energetic and a positive-minded coach. So I would be excited if I was a Chelsea fan. So it would be an A+. Now, Crystal Palace, I'm going to give them a B-. Now, they haven't made too many signings, but where they have made, they've made two very, very good signings. I think Nathan Ferguson is very underrated. He's not getting a lot of attention, but he has a lot of potential. He's a youngster, and they desperately needed a right back. And Eberiche Eze has the talent to be one of the most skillful players in the whole Premier League, for that matter. So they're good coups. I still think they need to improve their defense. That's why I'm going to give them a B-. And their notable outs have been not really anybody, but these are the only 3 ones. So it's been a solid transfer window, but rumors are now saying Zaha wants to leave. So again, it will depend on how Palace manage to juggle that situation, on how the transfer window will be reviewed come the end of the season. But as for now, it's a B-. Everton. Wow. Now, talk about Frank Lampard's full power. Good God. Carlo Ancelotti has a lot of it as well. He has reshaped a whole new midfield for Everton. Alan, James Rodriguez, Abdoulaye Doucouré. Wow. Now, I would give them an A-, or even a B+ actually might be a fair rating, but we'll stick with A- for the time being. Because they've just let Djibril Sidibe leave, and they don't have a right back that can play every single game. Coleman is a high quality player, but he can't play every single Premier League game. And he's always 7 on 10 type of player, but still I think they need to recruit a right back, and this could be a very good window for Everton. But they have lost the leadership of Leighton Baines and Morgan Schneiderlin, so those are two slightly damaging ones. And like I said, Djibril Sidibe left because his loan expired. But other than that, a very, very good window, and I would be, again, excited if I was an Everton fan. Fulham, C. So Fulham have had a decent window. The signing of PSG's Alphonse Areola is a very big coup. I think that's the biggest one. They've also gotten Mario Lemina, Knockaert, and Harrison Reed, which are all decent signings. They have lost Alfie Mawson and Luca De Torre, which are good, not good players, but solid players. But again, I wouldn't give them anything higher than a C, just because I don't see how these are still addressing the problems Fulham clearly have. They still need a little bit of more competent defenders. They've only signed midfielders, attackers, and while Areola is a good goalie, he is prone to that error on his day, and he hasn't played outside of France and he's played in Spain, but he's not ever been in England, and it's going to be a big step up for Areola. So, but other than that, it's not been a too bad window. So, I think a C would be a fair grade. Leeds, B. They've had no outs, Leeds United. That's one of the biggest cues for Leeds, and I think that's what's keeping them at a B for me. They've got Rodrigo Moreno, Robin Koch, Jack Harrison, Joel Geldart, Helder Costa. All very, very good players, to be honest. Rodrigo's good, Robin Koch is a good centre-half, and it will give them much-needed depth in the way Bielsa plays. Harrison is a talented player, Geldart is a talented striker, if I'm not wrong, and Helder Costa will give them much-needed pace and width in the wider areas. So I would be pretty excited. I just think they need to get a little bit more Premier League proven players. But other than that, a good window, and it would be a B for me. Leicester City, C-. I had a pretty rubbish window, to be honest. Losing Ben Chilwell and not replacing him with the Premier League proven left back could prove to be a dodgy window. And we could see clearly last season, Leicester don't have any squad depth. So the fact that they've only made one signing when they clearly needed to recruit in their defensive and midfield areas, it's pretty poor for Brendan Rodgers. And I would fear for Brendan Rodgers' side. So a C- is a fair grade. Liverpool, D. I was tempted to give them an F, but I would have got a lot of hate for that, so I'm not going to do that. And I don't think F is a fair grade because they have made Kostas Tsimikas from Olympiacos, who is going to play second fiddle to Andy Robertson, but will give them a little bit of depth in that fullback area. But they have lost Dejan Lovren, and no matter how much of a meme people would say he still is another centre back which they've lost. They've also lost Adam Lallana, again, who, not a meme, but not someone who people value a lot, but he's still a good bench player to have. And I think a D is a fair representation. I think Jurgen Klopp has to recruit if he wants to contend for the Premier League title, because this squad right now is not going to contend for the Premier League title, in my opinion, because I just don't see how they can. The way Chelsea and City are spending, it looks impossible. Manchester City, B. Now, I'm a Man City fan, for people who don't know, and I would give them an A. But to be honest, two big signings, nothing more. We have lost the leadership of Leroy Sané, David Silva. Angelino being allowed to leave, I think if he plays 12 games, he can be bought for 20 million, which is a pretty stupid clause, but we can buy him back for 40 million. Again, I don't know what the clause of this is. Claudio Bravo has left, Jack Harrison has gone to Leeds. So it's been they've recruited where they needed to. They've replaced Sané very well, to be fair. And they've replaced Sané with the money they got from Sané. They've basically bought Ake and Torres, which is pretty good, and the wages of David Silva and stuff like that. But they're gonna miss David Silva on this team, and it's not gonna be as easy, but still a good transfer window. Man United C+. Now this is a controversial one. Losing Alexis Sanchez, Angel Gomez, Tahith Strong, Joe Pereira, not too big of deals, but not recruiting, it's stupid from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And if they're not going to buy a winger, then they're going to be the same. The midfield wasn't the weakest area. Again, it's Donny van der Beek is a very, very good signing, but I still think they need a world-class winger to elevate them to the next level. So a C+, and that's all they're going to get for the time at least. Newcastle B+. Jeff Hendrick, Callum Wilson, Ryan Fraser, Jamal Lewis. Wow. 4 pretty good Premier League signings, and they've not lost anybody of note, of big note. So this is going to be a pretty good signing. So B+ is a fair rating in my opinion. Very close to an A-, but just a little bit off still. 1 or 2 more signings. Sheffield United C. Dean Henderson going to Man United is a big loss. And Aaron Ramsdale, while he's a good player, not good enough in my opinion, in anybody's opinion, to step into Henderson's booth. Ethan Ampadu is a good signing and will add a bit of youth into that defense, who is not old of such, but he can help because he gives them versatility, as he can play as a CDM even. So it's an okay window from Chrissy Wilder's men. A C would be, I think, a fair representation. Southampton B. Now, Southampton have made 2 main signings. Mohamed Salisu, the centre back from Real Valladolid, who had one of the highest take-on percentages in La Liga last year, playing for one of the worst La Liga sides, and Kyle Walker-Peters, which means they've addressed the loss of Cedric Suarez, and they've strengthened by adding a left-sided centre-back, which they clearly needed. But they have lost Elyounousi, Lamina, and Harrison, so it's a good window in all for Southampton, to be honest. Tottenham B-, quietly one of the most underrated windows. Matt Doherty, Joe Hart, Pierre-Emerick Højbjerg, all very good players, talented shithousers. But losing Jan Vertonghen and Victor Wanyama will be a little bit of blows to the squad in terms of leadership and leadership in that dressing room. But still, it's a solid window for Mourinho's men, and I do see them doing pretty well this season with the signings they've made. They've addressed the right back spot, which is the most important transfer, and Matt Doherty is one of the best right wing backs / right backs in the league, if not the best right wing back in the league. Right wing back. West Bromwich Albion C. I don't know who any of these players. Who is Cedric Kipre? Who the hell is Gravi Diangana? And who is David? David Button's a goalie, I think. Mateus Pereira being a permanent transfer is a big plus, but other than that, it's been a very boring window for the Baggies, and relegation is going to be what they will face come the end of the season. West Ham United D. It's pathetic, to be honest, to West Ham. Souček is not even supposed to be eligible, but because his loan was made permanent, it counts as a transfer. They've signed nobody new. They've let Nagakia go, who's one of a very talented player. So that's going to be a blow. I don't know why it says Wolverhampton Wanderers there. That's a typo, apologies. But apart from that, a very dull window, and I would fear if I was a West Ham fan. Wolverhampton Wanderers, C-. Like I said in my Premier League predictions video, I don't see why Wolves needed to sign another striker. I do think they needed to replace Matt Doherty better, and they do need to sign a bit more depth in that defense, so I'm going to give them a C-. But they have signed Pedro Marcal and Fabio Silva, who are both talented players and will add a lot to their squad, but losing Matt Doherty will be a lot. And we have come to the end. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. That was my Premier League transfer, every team's transfer graded. That's just my opinion. Feel free to drop your opinion down in the comments below, and goodbye.